Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the August 13th Raw review. Now, I'm just going to be doing basic, short reviews of each segment. And this is how it goes. Opening of the show, you have Big Show with Punk having a match. Now, for the title. The only thing I found that was interesting a little bit was when Daniel Bryan came out chanting no. Now, since the time he switched over from doing the yes chant to the no chant, I believe it's become more interesting because now the crowd really gets into when they see him, he gets a much more stronger heel response, which is actually very good. Switching it from a yes to a no, changing his shirt from a yes to a no, his jacket to no, and then changing his yes lock to a no lock, it's a very good thing. It'll give him more of variation, and even if he becomes from a heel maybe back to a face or in between, I believe that's really good. But having that did not save this segment of that match. Right before the match is over, when the Big Show was going to kick Punk's butt, Bryan comes in, basically puts Punk into the no lock, and Big Show basically elbows him to his back. Cena comes in, and AJ basically make a match between these four at the end of the night. I find that AJ Lee really has become boring. It would have been better if they allowed her to stay in the nutty phase, or out of her mind phase, not stable. Now she's showing to be stable, and it just isn't interesting anymore. Even though you would consider her, she's just trying to get over. She's tricking people to be able to get to the top. That's how some women and many men do. Yeah, but in this case, it was more interesting when she was crazy. Yeah, a lot of people speculated that she had a plan, but I really liked her more crazy. Anyway, next segment. You have JTG with Caitlyn talking, then AJ comes up, and basically, the reason this segment happened, JTG basically has not been doing what he's supposed to on his Twitter account by the bosses of the WWE. You have to have a certain attitude and say certain things on your Twitter account. He's no better than AEW, except AEW didn't say anything about Linda. He acted not very good on his Twitter account, and he's been punished for it. I don't remember the match before last week. I don't know who it was that he got squashed by. But this week, he got squashed by Ryback. Ryback's actually getting some momentum. People are now getting behind his gimmick. I have to admit, his new theme song, I think Feed Me More would have been better than saying it 3 times. The first Feed Me More with the new parts of his song would have been better than just saying Feed Me More and then doing it 3 times and minimizing it each time. The first one would have been better. And I hope also they do the Feed Me More in his promos instead of just letting him talk. Not saying he can't talk, but make it interesting. Make him impactful. That's how I feel. But that's how I went with that. Now, the next segment that I can remember was some pre-tapes of what happened with Brock Lesnar. And then they also started talking about Twitter with Roddy Piper in his Piper's Pit. Bad move on WWE. They should have just left it out. Having The Miz, having Y2J and Dolph as the choices sounds like it's interesting for the people. It's not. The problem right now is this. When the WWE is not prepared for it, it just seems choppy. And when it came to having Piper's Pit, Piper himself was not there. He was off. And it's obvious when he was talking to Y2J. I think Piper really didn't have time to prepare for it. I'm not saying Piper can't shoot from the hip. He was known for that in some of his segments, even though he did do a little bit of script. But Piper's words were always impactful. There was nothing there. Having this Twitter bit, and Piper acted very, very, how can I say this? He really didn't know what to say. He seemed weak on the mic. And Piper's not weak on the mic. He's never been known to be weak, unless he's been forced to follow a script that is just crappy. And if this was the script that he was forced to read and eat, It was a piece of crap. And then when Dolph and Miz came out, what was the point of having the Twitter vote anyway? Because then you eliminated it. You basically spit in the face of your fans when it should have just stayed with Chris Jericho. You have the Miz and Dolph come out, and then it means it's meaningless. It just didn't make any sense. And then when they had the three-way, nothing there. Honestly. It wasn't a very bad match. They didn't all have botches like crazy. It was a decent match. Like 50 or 60% of them, at least 50 or 60% of the match was okay. I could say it like that. Now, it would have been better. They just let Piper have one of those guys. Then if they have to come out, it would have made more sense and they could have worked on it. Now, the next match. Heath Slater and his opponent. I noticed that Heath Slater, I didn't like Heath Slater. As they say, he with his hair, Wendy's hair, he didn't really become interesting until the legends he had to face. Now that was a gimmick I think they should have at least found a way to continue. Even if he had to go back through some of those legends again and had a feud with one of them, it would have been easier. He could have had a feud, I know this sounds crazy, with Rikishi, because Rikishi plopped his ass dead in his face. And I could have said, you know what, Rikishi could have easily been a good choice. And this could have stemmed later into Brodus Clay, which I'll be bringing up later. But Rikishi could have been an interesting opponent for him. They give him something more. Because now he isn't really being booed in the way of just like he's a piece of crap, like a total jobber. Now they're giving some interesting boos because he's now not too bad of a character. Now, he went up against R-Truth. And R-Truth was all by himself today. He really did not have anybody to work with. And he did win the match, but then here's the sad part that I'm going to be putting in the description box or in the title. AEW was not there. And the primetime players looked empty. They looked naked. Like I said in my last video, which I'll connect to this one, primetime players, they can do the little dance, but it's not going to be interesting long. It's boring now, and it's sad. It was great when they had AEW there, because then they had energy and had momentum. Even though they weren't given a chance to be a full heel team yet, and they weren't allowed to do many wins, AEW kept them going. The people was interested in it. Without him there, it's just nothing. And I wish to say this for the record, I don't believe they're going to win those straps in SummerSlam. And if they do, where are they going to go after this? I believe they're going to go to Superstars because no one's going to be interested. Maybe they'll do a couple of appearances on Raw or SmackDown from time to time, but it's nothing there unless AEW comes back or they give them a new manager. Now, the next match, which I believe was the only thing that saved it for me because I would have gave this an F, Damien Sandow and Christian. Good match. Christian did a good job with it. It was short, and it was good. It showed how good Damien can be in his attitude, which gave him more heel heat. And then when Brodus Clay came down, and it was good they did not send the Funkadactyls with him. And don't get me wrong, I love Cameron, and I am in love. I will say it right now, Naomi, I know that woman probably be like this to me because I ain't a tall guy. That woman, I fall in love with that woman because at one point in one of the other matches months ago, how she showed an attitude to Vicky when they were doing something with Vicky. I believe that was with Jack Swagger. And Vicky had an attitude and kicked Cameron out of the ring. And when I saw Naomi come up and show such a strong type of attitude, that's when I really began to like her so much. Not saying I'm not in love with Cameron too, but Naomi's won me over. But taking away from that, having Brodus Clay come down by himself will not only show that he is really a good match for Damien Sandow in the sense that they're both varied. But the thing is that it'll show that he can be more than his gimmick. He can be more than this, a little joke for the kids. Now it'll show that he can have an actual feud. And I see that's good. If they do not break them up after SummerSlam and let them have more interaction with each other, this could be really good. Now the last two parts of the segment, is simple, and I'm just going to make it short. The tag match between Big Show and Daniel Bryan and CM Punk and Cena, boring. Nothing there. I didn't see anything good there. It made no sense. And then CM Punk still trying to be a tweener, shaking John Cena's hand. Really, it just nothing is there. So I'm just going to let it go. I didn't see anything good there. I didn't. For the last section of the segment of Raw was basically the contract signing and then Shawn getting his arm broken by Brock. You already know what happened with Brock, waiting for Triple H, and you know HBK basically was begging for Triple H to be there early, and he said he was scared. That just took away from HBK. I didn't like it. And they were trying to play off that he hadn't been there for a couple of years, which honestly kind of shows at the end of the show. But basically, by the time of the contract signing, when Triple H signed it without even looking at the paper, he didn't care, he just signed it, and then tried to go after Brock. It was obvious. There had to be something else going to happen. And this is what happened. When HBK was trying to leave, told Triple H, take care of your business, but I'll be there. Brock took him, beat him up a bit, took him to the ring and put him into a Gomorrah. I believe that's the name of it. And the thing that you can notice between Brock and HBK is HBK hasn't been there in a while. Not saying that he sold everything he did, but it was obvious the way he was squirming and stuff, he was trying too hard. Because HBK was always good in his storytelling. And this just didn't look right. And what happened with Triple H jumping back and forth, not staying still, I mean, it sounds like he was concerned, but honestly, if he stayed still and was screaming, let Shawn go, would make it more impactful. Then when supposedly Brock broke HBK's arm, and then HBK blamed Triple H, the Off the Rope show had a good idea, and I am iterating on it. There's a good possibility that this is going to be something to start HBK not coming back, but to do like Brock Lesnar is, coming from time to time, coming back, and then maybe having a match with Triple H, which could promote into Survivor Series or something else. I believe Unforgiven is the next one after SummerSlam. I could be wrong. I can't really remember what comes after SummerSlam. It could be Unforgiven. I'm not sure. But essentially, they could start something up from there and then go to the Royal Rumble or Survivor Series or even up to WrestleMania. I believe that might be it. So, my assessment of this, D+ or C-. I think D+. The only reason it's not an F is because of what happened to Damien Sandow and Brodus Clay. The rest of the show sucked. That's my take on it. Now, if you like this video, and I hope you do, you can subscribe and comment. I really hope people give me more comments so I can understand what I'm doing wrong. I know I haven't gotten everything right, especially in the hardcore justice review. I'm still learning how to do this kind of stuff. So I hope you tell me what I could be doing better. I really want to learn how to do this. So all of you take care.